Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your December forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look at all of the energy and opportunities from now until the end of the year. You can always use this for sun, rising, and moon, and we'll take a look at that in depth at the end of this forecast. Let's first begin here with channeled messages. These come through as basically my intuitive downloads during dreams. And the first message that came through was a beautiful white horse. And this image appears on many cards in tarot. There were three that came to mind as I was meditating, and that was two of the Knight cards, the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Swords, and then of course the Six of Wands, which is connected to success and being able to be seen. And let's look at this from the most auspicious, positive, beneficial point of view first. You may have multiple opportunities or points of interest that are kind of pulling at your heartstrings this month. And really what's required here is a decision. And the more clear and the more decisive you are, the more you're going to see the movement happen. The fact that the horse is there is just basically saying it wants to know how to be of assistance and it needs someone to lead the way. So are you ready to step into a leadership role? When we think of the knights in any of the major suits, they are there to assist the king and queen cards. So you're also embodying the leadership as well as the action, but you have other people that may be able to come in and help alleviate some of that. So you have a chance to delegate, to step back, to lead, and really to push down one path. So all that you really have to think is, what do I want to do this month? Where can I make the biggest impact? And am I ready to communicate that? Am I ready to put it out there? The Six of Wands is an announcing energy as well. So at some point, it's a decision that is then shared or announced or somehow put out to a larger audience. This portends good things in the areas of love, of communication, and business. So I actually see you shining, and it makes a lot of sense. Many of you, this is your birthday month, right? So my encouragement for you is to really decide, if not now, then when am I going to do what I need to do? Take a chance on yourself. Everything is looking really good here. As long as you are clear, decisive, and consistent, I think that this is going to be a fantastic end of the year for you. Let's go into the second big image that I was dealing with in dreams and meditation. And it was basically I was in a liminal space where I saw personifications of emotions. So imagine that the emotion of fear or anxiety, as well as love and hope, all had embodiments like physical forms. So I was looking at these sort of ghosts of the past, decisions that you wish you had made, but maybe that energy was kind of standing in the way. So you get to kind of say, I'm done with this. I don't need, fear no longer serves me. Doubt doesn't deserve a seat at the table. Anxiety, you've taught me the lesson. You can leave now. And it's really a chance for you to think about how powerful now is. So yes, we can learn from the past. Yes, we should review the past and understand, what went right and what didn't go right. But the most important moment is right here, which is why it's an honor that you're sharing it with me, by the way, because you're making decisions that affect tomorrow. You're making history right now. So dismiss the ghosts from the past. Yes, they had a part in your big play, but now you're the main character. You're the one making the choices. And if we look at this final bullet here, this is where the magic is. You are not summed up by your past actions or mistakes. They were moments in time that basically helped build character, create context, create a backstory for you. But the choices you make right here, right now, including as you're listening to this reading, thinking about the next step, this is what makes tomorrow. This is you making history, you planning and forging out a new path, opening up synchronicities, free will. So powerful. And that's why death is featured here, because it's about changing. And an arc of change or redemption is so much more interesting than a stagnant character, a hero that never has to kind of deal with a moral dilemma, a villain that never veers towards the good side. So I think that you could focus on where you could redeem, improve, or change your life. And that is where some magic can happen. And you can say goodbye to all of the ghosts of the past that might be occupying some time and space in your head, kind of haunting your thoughts, and just really focus on the power of now. And so the personal story was actually related to my novel that I wrote a few years back. And I hired a freelance editor to help me with some portions just to make sure everything made sense. And he gave me advice. He said, it's good, but I'd like you to add more tension by putting revenge as one of the themes. And I said, you don't get what I'm doing, do you? Redemption is the whole purpose here. Because I'm trying to do light work even in the fiction. And revenge is a little bit more shadow work. So anyway, I ceased working with that person. But I understand why that is maybe a knee-jerk reaction. Because you look at a lot of action movies, or a lot of the stuff that's just out there in the media, and there's a lot of like getting even kind of movies. And you have to look a little further back, but there is some examples of redemption. Star Wars, the original trilogy, is a great example where, without giving too much away, Darth Vader makes a major character arc thanks to his son who comes through and helps him see a different choice. And it's that moment where he makes a choice that kind of is a payoff for watching all of those films. It's like, wow, what a major 180. And just in the nick of time too. So to me, it's so much cooler to see someone who could have taken a different path choose differently, and then the positive ramifications of that and the inspiration. So in your own life, be inspired to embody change, to try something new, and to begin that journey today. Don't feel like you have to live with the ghosts of I could have, I should have, I would have. Live with the reality of I can, I will, and I am. They're a lot more powerful and impactful and friendlier, and it's going to help you move towards the person that you want to be and the potential that you've always had. Okay, that's my motivational piece for today. Let's turn our attention now to the Celtic Cross. And let's see what's coming through, folks, for the next month. I'm so excited. Again, especially after that motivational piece, let's look at what the opportunities are right here, right now. Little tiny spider on the table here. We're going to ask him to leave so we can focus. Sorry. Okay, we have 2 cards for your catalyst, so we're going to allow both of those to come through. Very cool. So you received 2 catalyst cards. One is spiritual calling, one is paradigm shift. I think these are really nicely connected to the channeled messages. The spiritual calling, we can connect to the white horse that I saw, which is really asking you, what do you stand for? What do you want to do? How are you going to do that? And on this particular card, we see that a breakthrough is available, but you have to fight for what matters and protect what matters as well. And then we have this big shifting and moving energy here with the Serapis Bay energy. It says activation to grow, make the change. So I said before, be the knight. Also, we could say here, be the change. So be the idea, be the embodiment, be the movement. Rather than seeking it from someone else or waiting for someone else, we again have spirit coming through saying, you're the one. You're the one you're looking for. You're the one to make the connection. And this energy, this insight, this opportunity is ready to be channeled through you and for you, but there has to be that preparation and that belief in yourself in order for this to fully come into fruition, okay? Let's go ahead now and take a deeper dive into the Celtic Cross itself, starting with your center card, 7 of Cups. So the 7 of Cups is an expansive card. Oftentimes it comes through when we are dreaming, when we are seeking, when we are wondering about things. When I used to give private readings once upon a time, and I was doing like a love reading, I could tell if the other person was thinking about the person I was reading for with this card, because I would say, oh yeah, you're on their mind right now, perhaps. So one thing with the Seven of Cups is it can connect us to things that matter, but it is not an active card. It's a little passive. It's more like what if, or I wonder. So we want to take the wondering energy into something that is going to take action. And it may be helpful to bring, it's interesting that I was talking about love. Someone may be thinking about you, but someone may also be able to take your idea and help you manifest it. Partnership in business. I talked before about the importance of having like an editor. So it could be an editor, a coach, an advisor. Make sure, since I did talk from personal experience about my challenges, that you avoid that and you find someone that comes from a similar perspective, so you're not having to sort of like constantly have a tug of war. It's good to have a little bit of a push. That's what we have coaches for or managers for and things like that. But you should both generally be in the same vicinity of what you're trying to do. Really pay attention to your dreams and your daydreams. You don't have to be asleep to get information. Meditation can provide really good insight. But for those of you like me that do dream work, keep a journal or keep a recorder, like your phone, and just hit the voice memo so that there's a way for you to access the vital information that comes through when we're not really overthinking. And that's the magic here. If you can just open your mind a little bit and pay attention to what you're feeling and what starts to come in, some magic could happen there, okay? Some of you may also be having some difficulty in concentrating or focusing. Obviously, meditation can help. And some of you are thinking about someone else. So let's get on to the Lovers card here. So this is a month where partnership is absolutely within reach. It can be friend or business, but it could also be love. And I like this card, especially where it's placed, because it helps you access what you need. So the Lover's energy is like a magnet. And when people find someone where they like something about them or love something about them, they're more inclined to work with them. So perhaps your sense of humor, your sense of fashion, your insight, your knowledge, there's something about you right now that is very charismatic and can connect you to others who can help you, who might even be able to help you clarify some things that you're thinking about. So the first message from Spirit is open yourself up to partnerships. They seem to be knocking on the door. There's just a question here also. What is it that you are seeking from these partnerships? Okay, let's move on to the deep past here. We have the Queen of Swords coming through in reverse, and she's basically encouraging you not only to use your voice, but to take action and to do so without the hesitation of wondering, what are people going to think? How is this going to play out in the long run? There comes a point sometimes where you just simply have to trust yourself. And so one thing that I love about the Queen of Swords reversed is she is upfront, she is honest, and she takes action when it needs to be sort of addressed, when something needs to be addressed. And for many of you, what I'm picking up on in just kind of like tuning into Spirit is they're saying that you'll get more credit for some of the thoughts and the ideas that you have because you may be the first one to communicate it. And it is not about the perfection or the perfectly constructed sentences. It's more about how you can basically, on a heart-to-heart level, really make an impact and get someone inspired. So speak up. This is basically saying speak up. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present and be a part of the team and be someone that's really bringing insight and knowledge and action. Oftentimes when others might just be sitting around the circle and not doing much. And this is whether it's in a relationship, a family, or at work. It's the same sort of energy. You speaking up and being there and rolling up your sleeves, it's gonna show in the long run that you're insightful and you are capable of leadership, and you're the type of person that people want to have on their team, right? One of the personal blessings of being able to show up here is understanding that what I just said is really important. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be a clear messenger, and I have to show up consistently. So be as clear and as creative and as attentive to whatever it is that you need to be as you can humanly be, and know that that's enough. That's enough. Most people don't have the courage or the even the sort of wherewithal to show up. So you just showing up and being the best version of yourself, that's all anyone can ask. It doesn't have to be perfect. And the Queen of Swords is saying, just Don't over edit, don't overthink, you've got this. King of Pentacles, recent past, showing you in this moment in time that resources are starting to align for your benefit. It's also a reminder here to say, like, don't underestimate your worth. We can see here the paternal energy that always is a part of this. So this card connects with your personal finances, the resources around you, resources in your life like time and energy, and also your house and your relationship. It's all the things that we kind of need for comfort and for survival. And it's saying focus on making sure that all of those things are where they need to be. And don't underestimate your worth. If I had to pick one thing that's broad enough and important enough for all of you to connect to, it's that message. You are worthy. And so really embrace that self-worth, because in the crowning position, we see a wish fulfillment wheel of fortune here. All these beautiful dandelion seeds, and then the dandelions on the wheel of fortune, fortune fairy. But this is kind of like make a wish, see your wish come true, be the embodiment of the wish. This is an important moment for some of you. The Wheel of Fortune is not just about money. It's a movement card. Typically, we see a wheel in this particular image. So the question from Spirit is, what are you doing to move that wheel forward? What are you doing, like with the Knight card or the horse that I saw in my vision? What are you doing to take it to the next level? The universe is opening up synchronicities in the form of either resources or money or people, or even just a door of opportunity. All you have to do is step towards it. All you have to do is be clear on the vision and to speak up and take action without overthinking. So those are the things to focus on. Some of you may be looking for a new job. Some of you may have just gotten into a new job. You may be looking at your relationship here, the Lovers and the Seven of Cups, and thinking, should I take it to the next level? Someone may be asking you what you want from the relationship, and you're thinking that. To that end, let's jump into the Queen of Cups. She's coming through here in the near future. So this is saying in this moment in time, it's important to focus not just on external relationships, but your own sort of emotional and mental health, making sure that you feel good, making sure that your creative energy is being sort of accessed in the way that makes sense. So if you're feeling like you don't have enough creative input in work or in school or in life, this is a chance to really say, I have ideas, I have dreams. Well, so the universe is aligning to help you realize the dreams, but part of that is also speaking up and sharing them and making sure that you're creating the necessary paradigm shift here. It says activation to grow, make the necessary change. And again, if you're willing to protect and fight for that dream, that shift is within reach. Can you enter into a really amazing relationship or partnership right now? Yes. We have the Lovers, the Queen of Cups, and the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands, which I want to talk about next, is basically one of the most stable cards you can pull for a relationship. It's having someone that absolutely has your back, and it's a foundation upon which great things can be built. The card is reversed here. So for some of you, you're still sorting out who you are and what you want, and until that is completely sorted, this is kind of waiting in the wings. And so again, who are you? What do you stand for? What do you want? Particularly when it comes to partnerships this month, it's an important thing to sort out. Four of Wands in reverse. Okay, so typically we can see friendship, we can see love, we can see really good relationships here. But in the reverse state, it may be for some of you a chance to audit and say, where am I putting in too much? Are there any areas where people are resisting kind of that foundation that I'm trying to bring to things? And if so, this is a chance for you to redirect a little bit. It's also a question for some of you, is this more on a friendship level or a love level? The thing that you really have to look at with that question is the level of investment that you're getting from the other party. Because the Four of Pentacles typically is somebody that's protecting themselves, and it looks like it's the other person. This is especially clear if we look at the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card. You can see that person holding the pentacle right over their heart space. Oftentimes, it's a representation of someone's fear or anxiety about opening up, about being vulnerable. And we see that there still is partnership energy, but there could be this need to protect something. So some of you might just be dating a person in your life that has a family, and they're like keeping you from the family because they want to make sure that this is the real deal before, especially if they have children, they kind of bring children into the picture. They may also be protecting family from meeting someone until they're serious. So it could just be a simple sort of gauge of seriousness, and all you have to communicate is that you're all in. But if someone consistently isn't sharing their sort of expanded friend group or family group, that can be a red flag, because it's kind of like, well, what are you hiding? Or why aren't you happy to kind of integrate me into that? Because I want to see all sides of the relationship. So that's a conversation to have. It can also be someone who just doesn't have the time and energy to invest what you want. So let's say you're seeking this, but this is all they can give. Maybe because of work, maybe because of a fear of rejection or pain or whatever. And so what you're looking for is someone that can come to the same sort of face-to-face level and basically reciprocate what you want. So whether it's work, love, partnership, or opportunity, this isn't enough. There's a negotiation opportunity here. And you shouldn't have to give up on a wish, a dream, or an expectation because someone else lacks sort of initiative or follow through or imagination. Okay? Let's look at your hopes, fears, and opportunities. The opportunity this month is to really step forward and show your power, show your courage, show your knowledge and your strength here, because we have the strength card. If we take a look at the traditional card here with the upgraded version of it, you'll see in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, a woman's putting her hands in the mouth of the lion there, which sometimes can be heavy-handed, right? So I think many of you have learned that it may not be worth the time and energy that it takes to coerce or force or push someone into agreement. And what you're really looking at is, where do you stand here? Can I trust you? Are you on the same page? And if not, you may be willing or ready to just go in another direction. There could be someone around you that's trying to get you to participate in something that doesn't feel right. And again, the opportunity here is to show a different energy. You don't have to have a struggle here. You can hold your ground, they can hold their ground. You can disagree and just say, I understand why you want that. That's not what I want. And it's good that we can both agree to disagree. And that might be actually what you have to say almost verbatim, to agree to disagree. When it comes to your own personal strength and well-being, this is about prioritizing wellness. And wellness is mind, body, and spirit. So we're looking at mental health, we're looking at physical and spiritual health, making sure that all parts of you are taken care of, okay? And then the only sort of fear could be around a confrontation, but we see here how to deal with it. She's kind, she's introspective, and she knows when and where to kind of push. And we don't have to have the struggle that we see in this card, okay? The outcome is something transformative here. The Four of Swords, beautifully illustrated here with all the butterflies. This is almost like you waking up after the dream is over, after a really difficult moment is past. The traditional Four of Swords shows someone sleeping or a sepulcher, and this is the rebirth moment after that. So take time to sleep, to rest, to recalibrate. It is one of the most important aspects of spiritual growth, because during rest and meditation and space, just holding space and not filling up your schedule every single moment, you get to come to like an epiphany or an understanding of what's next, what you've learned, what you still need to work on. And you won't have to repeat history. You won't have to revisit any of those ghosts that we saw in the sort of liminal space. Let's go ahead now and take a deeper dive into health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to begin with the energy of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit, which we were just talking about. And let's focus on the catalyst card for that. This is so beautiful and so nicely connected to what we were talking about. It says, I clear my energy field, which again comes through both. Well, actually, not just both. It would be three things. It would be meditation, rest, but also exercise as well. And this can also be physical clearing around you. So sometimes we don't take into consideration how certain objects, clothing included, hold on to energy. This is a really good time to go into your closet and decide, what don't I need for the season ahead? What haven't I used in maybe 6 months, 8 months, a year, or longer? Is there something that I can do to recycle or find a new home for some of this stuff? And if there's anything that has a negative attachment to it, find a way to recycle or release that so that you can hold space where you're sleeping, where you're working, where you're living for something better. It's better to have space than to have something occupying that space that's less than optimal. Now let's take a look at the cards and see where those clearing opportunities are with respect to health. The first thing that we see is someone in your thoughts a lot or you in their thoughts a lot. So what we can kind of do is create some space and boundaries. And again, if we go to this traditional strength card, it's a little easier to see that this can be like a parent, a boss, or someone in your life that just likes to get their way. And it may come from a place of love, but we can even see the sort of pensive or frustrated energy in the Seven of Cups when it's like, but let me do it my way, or let me try my path here. So some of you, it's just asserting your POV, your point of view, and knowing it's okay to disagree. It's okay to have a different sort of path that you want to take. I think that focusing on the throat chakra as well, since we have the Queen of Swords here, and the Queen of Cups heart. So we're looking at basically the fourth and fifth chakras. This is about your sensitivity, your passion, your relationship energy, your intuition as well, but like feeling things out. This again, communicating, speaking your truth. And so those two areas are coming through from a place of energy. This can affect so much, like the throat area can be your tonsils, your thyroids, sore throat. It can also be like your voice box, so many different things here. So it's really important to work on those things like speaking your truth and do anything that you can do to kind of open up this energy system. For the heart, we don't want to close that down either, because the heart needs to be open to be vital and to help us survive. So really focus on mental health and emotional issues this month. If there's anything that's creating tension there, we really want the two work together. You can speak what's in your heart and what's on your mind. And that's where we want to clear it. It's actually everything that needs to be cleared is right at the center. The mind, which is the Seven of Cups, the heart, which is the Lovers, and the Queen of Cups, and the throat, the Queen of Swords. Environmentally, again, you might be holding on to something that doesn't serve you anymore. So releasing that and focusing just on general strength building. And for each and every person, that's going to be different. And of course, you're going to work with your health professional to figure out what your body wants. But it can just be as easy as taking a walk, or you can decide to do something a little bit more. But we are seeing just focusing on building strength at any age and at any stage. The Four of Swords with this is also saying make sure that you're getting enough sleep for your health and well-being. So I feel like most of the things are pretty manageable. What I picked up on was energy points in the body, particularly this and this that want to open up. So the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and I would even say the seventh chakra here, which is going to then clear your connection to spirit. Okay? Now let's go ahead and take a look at the energy coming through for your wealth, which is resources, life purpose, and career. Let's take a look now at the energy around wealth. The card came through reverse, but it reads patience. And even without me pulling the Rider-Waite-Smith comparison, which you know I'm going to do, you can tell that this is closely connected to the Seven of Pentacles. It even has the number 7, and it has the main message from the Seven of Pentacles, which is patience. We see here a seed that has been planted, the roots are growing, but we haven't seen the fruits of the labor. So for many of you, you've planted a seed of intention, you've spoken up, you've done something, and you want the immediate gratification. The Seven of Pentacles and this patience card come through as a reminder that it takes time for growth, recovery, and even for something to come fully into fruition. So don't rush the process. Really enjoy the now, this moment in time, and think, what else can I be doing? You can plant more than one seed. And wherever you start to see the movement first, that's where you can focus a bit. This particular tarot card would come often on the heels of something that was more challenging than you thought. And now you're putting to practice all the lessons to avoid overextension. So don't force the timeline. Don't spend more time or energy than you have. This is coming through in wealth. And patience is key. So the way that you can neutralize this would be temperance, basically not moving too far, too fast, really weighing everything out. And again, allowing for things to take form or take shape before you rush them out. So some of you may also be working with or for someone that is trying to cut corners. This is also like a red flag. You don't want to do that. All right. Ultimately, though, when I'm looking at abundance, this card is saying you're headed in the right direction. And when we combine that with your Wheel of Fortune in the crowning position, it's just about maintaining and observing that general growth and momentum, and you should be fine. Let's take a look generally at the sort of connection with wealth and with self-worth first, and then we can break it down for those that are working or not working. So as I said before, you are worthy, you are capable, and opportunities are opening up if you have sort of like this ability just to step forward and say, let's do it. Push back on things that are not showing up the way that they should. So if someone is trying to lowball you with an offer, bringing in too little. So let's say you are negotiating for a job and it's the title's too low, the pay's too low, or you are trying to sell something and someone is trying to get too deep of a discount. Stand your ground. We have a king and a queen. We have the strength card. We have the wheel of fortune. You have a lot of things moving in your favor. Get someone else to support you in this as well if you need to, and push back on that. Or consider going in your own direction. With the king and the queen and the wheel of fortune, this is basically saying maybe you start a small business. Maybe there's a partnership opportunity. You can also find your next opportunity from someone. All right, let's go ahead because I'm already kind of getting into it. Let's break it down into more specific messages. For those that are working, it feels like many of you are ready to own this moment in time. So King of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, Queen of Cups. This is knowledge and resources. This is creativity and sensitivity. This is bringing something tangible to the table. That's not enough. There may be a place where you are limited. Maybe you can't speak your mind or share your ideas, and that's frustrating. Maybe there's no clear idea of where to go next because the Four of Swords is a sleepy card for career when we're looking at an outcome. So one thing that I would say here is that if there is inaction, that also is a way of speaking up. So if someone says they're going to do something and they do nothing, they're actually showing their true character, and that's not a place where you can be long term. Or there's a glass ceiling. There's just simply so much you can do in a place and you have to decide, is it enough? Are there other areas where I can feel growth and creativity? It doesn't all have to happen in the house of career here. But I do see some frustrations and I see a lot of big personalities. So for some of you, there is this sort of encouragement to maybe use this network and create something new or go somewhere else. Otherwise, if you like it enough, there might need to be like an additional source of revenue or inspiration or creativity because it feels like something's lacking in the environment. Speak up. Maybe you can make a change because we see a lot of movement and a lot of people around you. And actually, if we go back to what I talked about in the channeled messages, you have the potential this month to rally support. So be the knight, be the voice, be the change. And if you're not seeing what you need, then speak up. And all of these different people that we're seeing on the table here could rally behind you and support whatever it is that you're trying to bring into fruition. Okay, so that's it for those in a job. If you're looking for a job, can you find it? Yep. We have the Wheel of Fortune here. The negotiation may be a little bit more intense than you're used to, but fight for it and be reasonable because it does look like there's only so far you can go. It may be half of what you think. And you have to ask yourself if that's enough. So I see one option on the table that's not quite what you want. And it feels like there are a lot of other people, a lot of other avenues to go. So don't necessarily accept something that's, again, less than enough. Sometimes we have to do it because you need something for the short term. If that's the case, one of the benefits of this short-term experience could be really making some core friendships and core relationships that could help you in the long run. There's always a silver lining, and that's the one that I see there. But can you find work? Yes. It's just a matter of really creating a strong case for compensation. For those that are looking to basically re-enter the job force, again, I'm getting an encouragement maybe to start your own business or to reach out into the friend and family network because the next big option comes from that. For those that are happily unemployed or retired, what we see here is a chance to really focus on your creative ventures and your health. And those are good things. I also see many of you sitting in a place where you can do this because we have the Wheel of Fortune here in the main crowning position. The only challenge here is there are people around you that may need some support from you, and that's going to be where you need to have those firm boundaries. And that's come up a few times actually over the course of the monthly readings here. So make sure that you're sort of really clear on how much and how often you're willing to give to any of the various extracurricular or nonprofit or family members around you that have open hands, okay? Let's now focus on the next category, which is love and relationships, which I know a lot of you are very curious about. And by the way, it showed up in a really big way this month. So we have a transformative relationship coming through. The dragonfly is one of my favorite totems. It goes through a metamorphosis too. It starts off in the water, in the sediment, and it goes through a pupa phase, and it has basically the metamorphosis as well. So multiple stages here. And we see cards showing the multiple stages of a relationship. For some of you, it may be starting off as a friend sort of vibe, and then a little bit more, there's a spark of passion. For some of you, you're just kind of enjoying the honeymoon phase of something, and you're thinking, I just like thinking about this person or being with them. Do we have to complicate it right now? I think eventually that question is coming into the fold for many of you, is what's next in this relationship? And if you're single and looking, what is it that you're looking for? Let's go ahead and break it down. We're going to start first with existing relationships. You know that I like to look at it highest and most sort of beneficial first, and then we can dig into the problems or the challenges. If everything's going well in the relationship, one thing that I see here is one partner giving a lot and another partner focusing more on themselves. And it may be more sort of like self-improvement, but there could be a little bit of an imbalance here when it comes to how much the other partner feels appreciated. So just communicating and saying, thank you, I love you, or that means a lot. Remembering the little stuff, thoughtfulness is key, and speaking up and basically just saying it. Sometimes you need to hear it. It's not just about seeing it. So say it with your heart, but do say it. That's one thing here. And don't be afraid to say, I love you, or I miss you, or I was thinking about you today. How are you doing? That's all you have to do sometimes. I do that with my friends. I'm like, you popped into my head. What's going on? And then you put the ball in their court, okay? It can be quick and short and sweet. Sweet is key, but I think that's important here. I see different approaches to the relationship as well. So when we're looking at what's coming through or what's being needed here, we see much more energy around sort of the heart opening up, and maybe there's a little block here in the way that intimacy is, or not nonverbal communication as well. So that's going to be something you want to work out and make sure that you're getting what you need from a place of intimacy and closeness as well. Knowing that intimacy is not just physical connection. It's like how much time you're spending with each other, how much of your life you're sharing with one another, things of that nature. Ultimately, with proper communication and balancing out sort of like the energy a bit, anything's possible. We see a peaceful resolution here with the Queen of Cups and the Four of Swords. Now, some of you are on the precipice of a big change. And the question is, are you and your partner aligned on the next level? Some are proposing a deeper relationship. So you might have been together for a while, and it's like, are we like in this for the long haul? And it's either going to go up to the next level, or you're going on a different path. So expansion seems to be the name of the game here. So I think it's important to embrace the possibility and express interest if you're interested. For those of you that are single and looking, right now the biggest challenge for you is work. It feels like there's a lot of energy going into personal development, finances, and for some of you, really focusing on making sure that you have enough time and energy to give to a relationship. But can you find it? 100%. We have the Lovers and we have the Queen of Cups. A water sign is coming in. And what I see here, though, is just a lack of time and energy. So take care of yourself, create the space and the time to nurture yourself and the new relationship. You should be good. It feels like the main focus for you is actually in expanding the social network. So through the friends, you might actually meet this Queen of Cups. So focus on that first. You don't have to necessarily put too much energy into seeking this person out. I feel like they're going to notice you when you're doing something social. For those that are happily single or widowed or just not looking at relationships right now, the opportunity right now is for rest and for building up your sort of your health and your well-being. So strength and rest. And for some of you deciding to maybe do something creative or social, all of those energies are coming through in this moment in time as well. And transformative. You get to turn a new leaf, and you don't have anybody judging you in that sort of transformative process. So that's the cool thing about being unattached. You can just do what you need to do. Let's move on now to your Destiny card, we have disruption coming through, and it's basically saying that the status quo no longer is good enough for some of you, and that change is not only good but necessary. And we saw the necessary change with the butterfly here, coming on the heels of the Four of Swords, and the dragonfly as we were looking at relationships. Each of those have multiple phases to the development, and they have a resting period where basically the insect changes from one form to another. That's why rest is important. There may be a plateau where you're thinking, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And for those of you that like to garden or spend time out in nature, you know that one day you just walk by something and it's blooming, or something pushes through the soil. And then after that, the growth happens with such rapid speed that you think to yourself, why did I ever doubt that it was possible? So try to make peace with change and embody or be the agent of change. And then this disruption energy becomes something really, really cool. Let's go ahead and take this a little deeper and look at sun, rising, and moon messages, and perhaps we'll get some clarity on how and when that sort of disruption is going to be coming through. All right, let's give the cards a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say. Sun, rising, and moon. And you know what? We have a bonus card here that I'm going to assign to this one, and we'll talk about that afterwards. Okay, so we're going to start first with sun sign messages, and we have the Six of Cups. This is so lovely when it comes to relationships. Typically, we would see children on this. It can show this sort of twinning energy that wants to come through, someone that really gets what you're trying to present. And the key thing on this is just feeling open and receptive. The Cups energy is always about willingness to give and receive. So this is a chance, it's a second chance for some of you, a second chance at a relationship or an opportunity that makes your heart sort of sing. And with this, again, we have Six of Cups, we have Queen of Cups, we have the Lovers, and we have the Four of Wands. And this is showing me really positive things when it comes to love, friendships, relationships, and just you being put out in the sort of like general spotlight. Six of Cups is good. So don't be afraid to show your true colors, and don't be surprised if someone comes knocking and they're interested in you for any level of partnership. So in short, now is a really important time to clear your mind, clear your energy, and be open to the possibilities on all those different partnership levels, because the universe is definitely changing things up, possibly even disrupting your focus a little bit on this, but it could be for the better. In rising and ascendant, we have the Two of Pentacles reversed. Once again, we're being shown something that's growing. And I think for some of you, you are being faced with two equally alluring opportunities, and there's a decision that has to be made. There could also be a clear focus on something where there's a lack of balance, and you're like, I have to deal with that. So it's either a choice or an obvious thing that needs to be dealt with, but what are you going to do to speak, your truth or your thoughts on this, and how are you going to create the necessary balance? That's the thing here. Don't overextend. Again, we see that not only with the Seven of Pentacles, but with the Two of Pentacles. So when it comes to your time, your energy, or your resource, I'm going to specifically focus on it here. You don't want to try to please everyone. It's better to disappoint one person, but be honest and say, no, I can't do that, than to try to do it and disappoint them more by not being invested, available, or just having the wherewithal to do it because you're being torn in too many directions. So really, really be discerning with this and focus on the area of maximum passion and impact. And that's where things are going to really get exciting. Again, give things time to take shape, to take root, to take form. Don't rush things. We're getting a second sort of re-emphasis of that. Necessary balance in your life. If you're lacking enough time with your friends, with your family, with your pet, with whatever, make sure that you achieve the proper balance. And that's the last message there. For Moon, we have the Queen of Wands, one of my favorite court cards because of her ability to think through any challenge, to be really creative, and to be bold. She's not going to worry about having to say everything. She's just going to boldly give it a shot. And it's sort of like just move forward and apologize later if necessary. I kind of like this fiery energy that's really appropriate for you. So this is a chance for you to just go for it. It's really passionate. So what do you feel most excited about this month? That's where you want to put your energy. She is one of the ultimate boss cards, right on par with the Empress. So if you need to do something, if you feel a challenge in your life, you can meet it head on. Think it to a certain point and then just go for it. And you'll be able to, in real time, just sort of like figure it out. So I love this energy for you. And I think that really the sky is the limit when it comes to possibilities, that you are a match for any challenge or opportunity that's presented to you. And it's a chance for you just to be very, very imaginative and confident. And I hope that those energies come through for you this month. On occasion, I will allow an extra card to come through, and we have a big idea that wanted to pop out of the deck here. It was landing on the table, and I was like, all right, we need to talk about this. So the Knight of Wands is the big idea for this month. And this is basically saying, if you walk away with one thing from this reading, it's what are you going to do to embody an idea that you have? So if there's something that you want to see happen, make it happen, is what this card is saying. Move it forward, share it with someone, show it to someone, explore and see what others are doing. It's a curious card. It's a demonstrative card. It's not a quiet card. So this is a chance to at least have a communication with someone else. So this Knight of Wands could be seeking out the partnership energy that we see here. Someone that can see eye to eye, face to face, heart to heart, what's going on and say, yeah, let's give this a shot. So this is taking it out into the real world from the thought process that is the Seven of Cups. So the main thing the universe is saying is you've thought this through enough. It's time to spark some action, okay? Now we're going to look at the final question for today, and this can be anything that I haven't yet addressed. So keep that in your mind and heart for a second, and let's shuffle the cards and see what the answer is from Spirit. Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands in reverse. So whenever this card comes through, it's an opportunity to work smarter, not necessarily harder, to push back on unnecessary sort of expenditures when it comes to your time and to your energy. And when it comes to people in your life, you don't owe everybody some sort of an explanation. So if you know what you need to do, if you've done the work and someone's in the background just chattering, at some point you tune it out and you keep moving forward. Because the time and energy it takes to convince or address or even just sort of like come up with what is necessary to help them understand it's not necessarily needed. This is especially true when we're just looking at family members that have an opinion but don't necessarily have some sort of a say or aren't part of this sort of decision-making process. So if it's just an opinion, let it go. If there's something that you need to fight for, this is a great card coming through, and it's saying you don't have to go overboard, but definitely stand up when necessary. Know when to speak up, know when to stand down, know when to move on. You have the capacity to do just enough without getting exhausted, and I think that's where I'm going to leave it for today. But when it does come to your general work schedule, the last message here is to probably let go of one thing. You might have one too many things that you're juggling, and we saw, the Two of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles. I feel like you could just be stretching your energy too thin, and that's that. As a yes or no, yes, if you want to go for it, go for it. But be willing to know that it takes a little bit of a push to get what you want. All right? That's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up and click subscribe if you're brand new. That way you'll never miss out on a future video. You can also join me on social media where I will remind you if I do any impromptus or if there's any news and information. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, no changes in spelling, no extra letters, and then that way you'll be able to stay in touch. You can also go to my website if you need those links. A quick reminder, I do not offer private readings and I will not direct message you. So if anybody on social platforms is impersonating me and saying something like, I'm drawn to you, or or asking for money or donation for a reading, block them, report them, leave a comment so I know. I don't do that. But I have to say that so you know when you see an imposter. I drop new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday unless otherwise announced on my community tab. I do a live reading every Sunday around 9 a.m. Pacific time, and I do daily card readings. All of that is on my main channel page, so I hope you check it out. Thank you everybody for spending some time with me today. You have a lot of choices here on YouTube, and it was my honor and pleasure to be able to hold this space and help you navigate the opportunities for the month ahead. Until I see you again, have a great one and take care.